Best of all the world to be. In my heart, where'er I wander, memories entwine and weave. All my hopes and aspirations, all my longings, woes aside. Everlasting bonds surround us as the fleeting years roll by. Times unfolding, more and more my destiny to release in lasting splendor that the years have brought to me. All the ashes of my glory, oh, the long, long night has passed. Oh, rise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Oh, rise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past.
We love you, Guyana, from island to sea. will give us the wealth and the harvest yield. All hail to Guyana, our country now free. One people, one nation, one destiny. We pledge every effort, we'll cherish this land and make it a paradise. Purpose and vigor, we'll have our own faith, unmoved by distraction, prejudice and hate. Together we'll strive for our new nation's goal, inspired by goodwill and kinship of soul. All hail to Guyana, our country now free. One people, one nation, one destiny. We pledge every effort, we'll cherish this land and make it a paradise. Land of wonder. Born in the land of the mighty Roraima, land of red rivers and far-stretching sea. So like the mountain, the sea, and the river, great, wide, and deep in our land would years of work to correct each lost sons. Where children pledge each faithful heart to guard Guyana's lands, to foil the shock of rude invader who violate our earth, to cherish and defend forever the state that gave them birth. We forge a nation's mighty soul, construct a nation's frame. Freedom or everlasting goal, courage and truth our aim. Unyielding in our quest for peace, like ancient heroes brave, to strive and never cease, with strength beyond the slave.
Hey, morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 7 hours 22 on the 11th day of September in the year 2025. I am your host. How you been? How was your yesterday? How was your last night? How you feeling this morning? How optimistic you are that Guyana is a good place, or Guyana is going to become a better place? How optimistic are you? What are your expectations from this new government? Well, old wine in new skin, they say. What do you expect from them? Do leopards change their stripes or spots? Which one? I wonder is which one the leopard get by. Yeah, I must check for me. Check and win, and let me see what that is. Yes, how have you been? How was it yesterday? I see yesterday we closed the program talking, I think, mostly about what Starbuck News reported was going to be the parliamentary representation of the APNU. This morning I woke up to a headline that says Aubrey Norton bows out. Like I said to y'all before, editors are the gatekeepers of information, and they will determine what you know, how you know it, and when you know it. They will also put their personal spins on it because everybody has an agenda. Good? The media has an agenda-setting role. And what does that mean? The media determines what people talk about in society. So in 2020, when they wanted to bash the Granger government, it was the media they had. Every day was a negative headline. Every day was a negative headline. And when they wanted to support the wickedness of the PPP, every day was a positive headline for the PPP. So the question is, can the media really be trusted at face value? Can you just look at a headline and come to a conclusion? Right? That's a question. So here it is. Kaicho News is yesterday. Starbuck News is saying this is what the parliamentary list would look like. Aubrey Norton is heading to parliament. Today, Kaicho is saying Aubrey Norton bows out. He's not going to parliament. It's likely that Dr. Terence Campbell, is going to be leading the APNU's charge in the National Assembly. But you know what I find interesting? Apart from the fact that I don't think they've gotten the list correct as yet. All of these newspapers that are speculating, I don't think they've gotten the list correct as yet. But what I find interesting is I don't hear anybody asking, where's that WPA name on the list? Starbuck News published a list yesterday. I didn't see a WPA name on it. Kaicho News published a list today. I didn't see a WPA name on it. So the question is, where's the WPA in all of this? Wasn't the WPA a partner in the APNU WPA coalition that contested this election? Didn't the WPA do a lot of heavy lifting for the past 5 years and during the electoral campaign? Shouldn't at least one name be featured on that list from the WPA? If you ask me, I think the WPA deserves 2 seats. I know I usually say these are not WPA's official positions. I don't speak officially for the WPA. I think I told people that before. When the WPA has an official statement to make, it either uses a press conference or one of its co-leaders. Good. But from where I sit, I think WPA held it together for Orby Compton, Norton, and by extension, the coalition from 2020 on to now. Right? And we did a lot, I'm sure we did a lot of heavy lifting in the elections campaign. But in all of these utterances, I'm not hearing any WPA name featured as going to parliament. I wonder why. Is it that there is no seat for the Working People's Alliance? Or is it that the media doesn't care to put the Working People's Alliance in the psyche of Guyanese? Or is it that even the people who are, quote unquote, providing this usually reliable information to the media don't care to put the psyche of put the Working People's Alliance in the psyche of Guyanese? Those are just questions I'm asking, right? I don't know, I'm asking. And so if the powers that be are listening, maybe they can provide answers, because I definitely want to know. I definitely want to know. And I represent the populace, and so I know the populace definitely wants to know. Good. So let us look at that. Let us monitor that. Let us see how that will unfold. And I did say, and I'm saying it again, from where I said I believe the WPA deserves 2 seats. One of the let me tell you, so you understand my position quite frankly. I worked on the East Coast because I'm Buxtonian, and that's why Mark Benchcup called me on election day and asked me what was happening in Buxton. But I was part of the East Coast campaigning committees. More specifically, I think they call it the Lower East Coast, some Melanie or somewhere, all the way back to Pleasance or somewhere, right? Good. I tell you how truthfully, I don't pay attention to certain things, But I worked on the East Coast. And I was responsible for logistics, basically. Means that every meeting that had to be announced, I was responsible for that, or most of them, because some campaign leaders decided that they had other arrangements to announce their meetings and so on. Meetings that had to get some systems set up, I was responsible for that. Speaking on platforms, coordinating certain efforts and so on. And I can tell you, if you were to check the results, you will see neither WIN nor the PPP won Buxton or had or or had an easy time in Buxton. APNU, I would say, held its own in Buxton. And the question that has to be asked is, how did APNU hold its own in Buxton? Right? Buxton had And I might come in for some flack here because I don't know if people, we got a lot of thin-skinned people in politics. Let me just say that. Buxton had a well-oiled machinery. In terms of elections day. The last few days leading up to elections, I insisted that, hey, we got to go on the ground. We got to take this community, this locality by storm, if you want to call it. We got to walk the ground. We got to talk to people. We got to engage people. I said, throw up my sound system on the back of the canter, throw on a generator there. We gone through the community, blasting APNU songs, blasting APNU messages, talking to people, and so on and so forth. And I dare say it paid off. I dare say it paid off because, again, I'm saying, when neither the PPP didn't have an easy time in Buxton. APNU came out miles ahead of the others in Buxton. Good. And for that alone, I think we deserve a seat. Because it's not only Buxton we held together, we did our work, but throughout the East Coast. Wherever the opportunity presented itself, we did our work. And then for our national effort, again, nationally, we contributed and we did. Dr. Hines was on several platforms and so on and so forth. The messages were well received and so on and so forth. So, give me two, no, man. Give me two, no. I see Dennis Champagne said, no, only 1 year I can get is only 12. But my position, if you got 12 and you give me 2, you got 10. Do what you want with it. What happened? Good? That's only my position. I don't know what I don't know what the party's position is. That's my position. And I always come here and I tell y'all what my position is. I came and I told y'all, for me, the slate should have been Aubrey Norton, David Hines as president and prime ministerial candidates, Ganesh Maipal and Jaretta Fernandes as vice presidents or vice presidential candidates. I said that before we went with the Jaretta Fernandes formula. Good. So I am accustomed giving you my opinion freely. And Uvex, right? Uvex. I don't got no qualms about that. Good. So I'm telling you about this well-oiled machinery. As I'm making my case, right? So we had a well-oiled machinery in Buxton. Our people were fed on time. People were transported to the polling places on time. Most of our agents, if not all of our agents, were able to vote by leaving their polling places and going to the places of their district where they had to vote. They had relief, as we call them. They were relieved, so they had to go and vote and so on. Right? Good. I operated, I would say, across boundary because I was tasked with some supervisory work in Monrepo. I have 13 stations to supervise in Monrepo. And again, I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder for doing a darn good job. Because most of my agents over there were able to vote. I think, save and except 2 or 3 of them. Good. Ballot boxes were accompanied to the from the polling place to the storage place at Better Hope. Good. So when I say I know the work that we did, I know the work that we did. And I know the constraints under which we did that job. I'm not here to discuss the constraints. I'm here to discuss the positives, what we did that makes me believe, well, we could get 2 seats. We deserve 2 seats. It's not out of greed. It's out of recognition. But like I said, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. Because Aubrey has a humongous task of dividing 12 among the multitude. He ain't Christ seeing, I know, 5 bread or 3 bread and 5 fishes, whatever it is. He can't do that. So at the end of the day, I respect whatever decisions are made. But I'm not going to stand for WPA not having any seat, as people seem to be suggesting, WPA naming featuring anywhere and so on and so forth. If WPA let me deal with Corinne Ben and Dr. Hines' statement that in today's political culture, it was not feasible for 2 Afro-Guyanese men to be at the top of APNU's ticket. You see me? I have a former employee who used to look at me and say, Bano, you confidently ignorant, you know. You full of confidence, ignorance, because you are so confident in yourself that sometimes you don't care what you say. You don't care what you say. Right? And it's not that I don't care what I say. I got so much self-esteem. I got so much self-belief. I got so much love for self. And that extends to love for my people. That I believe in me and I believe in my people. And nobody can come and tell me otherwise. I have all the respect in the world for Dr. Hines. But you don't come and tell me that in this political dispensation, 2 Afro-Guyanese men can't do it. Don't tell me that. Mark Phillips is part of the PPP leadership team, so-called campaign. As a matter of fact, he is the prime ministerial candidate. How much of Mark Phillips you saw? How much of Mark Phillips did you see? The face of the PPP's electoral campaign, or faces if I dare say, was Jagdio, Ali, Nandalal, and the rest of Indo-Guyanese. Somebody noted on social media, maybe on this very program not so long ago, that they noticed that when the PPP was going into certain areas, even the crossover Afro-Guyanese, as they call themselves, the proud of slaves, as Anil called them, were not present. They were not allowed to accompany them. Somebody also observed that when the crossovers, the proud of slaves, were out there campaigning, distributing Mirror or whatever the newspaper, etc., they were doing it among themselves or by themselves. They think I know Guyanese with them. So you don't come and tell me, I mean, Dr. Hines said it, but you don't come and tell me because I don't agree with it, that them 2 black brothers couldn't pull it together. And old people say 1-9 and no accident. Old people say 1-9 and no accident because 10 knows or is likely to know. And my position on what the slate should have been ain't got nothing to do with disrespect for anybody or wanting to leave out anybody's ethnicity or wanting to leave out any ethnic group from around the table. No. My recommendations were, and they still are, grounded in the reality of this dear land that we call Guyana. The only people calling for unity in this country is black people. The only people acting for unity in this country is black people. The only people acting against themselves in this country because of this quest for inclusivity is black people. And until we come to the point of recognizing that, we got many more disappointments to get. Many more disappointments to get. Look at the Win Party that has arguably replaced the APNU as the major opposition in parliament. It's a set of black people with an Indian face. It's a set of black people with an Indian face. The majority of them is black people. The minority which comprises the leadership are Indo-Guyanese. So if them black people could come together and do it for Win, they couldn't come together and do it for APNU led by two of their own. I'm buying that. I'm buying that. If you give me the opportunity tomorrow to put together a slate for an election that is to be held on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, I will tell you exactly that. The only way to consolidate the votes of the African man in this country is to put two Africans at the top of the list. I'm going to remind you all that this thing about Afro and Indo combination for president and prime minister started out with the PPP. In the first place, let me explain this to you. The constitution of this country doesn't require you to name a prime ministerial candidate. And that's why Azudin could wait until the very last moment to say, well, Tabitha Sarbo Ali will be my prime ministerial candidate. Very last rally held. Constitution doesn't require that. Alex, I need to drink some water. Yeah. Constitution doesn't require you to name a prime ministerial candidate. Right? Let's keep that in mind. All it requires is a presidential candidate. And Jagan or the PPP started naming a prime ministerial candidate because they wanted to catfish black people to support them. Because a presidential candidate will forever be an Indo-Guyanese. And if they recognize that their numbers alone can't carry them over the threshold, their numbers alone can't carry them over the threshold. They had to attract numbers from other places. And they came up with this brilliant idea. Let me put a token black man there. Sam Hines to start with. And then everybody started adopting this attitude of the token black man, the token Indian. The PPP knows their ideology, and that is why when Moses Nagumotu was named as prime ministerial candidate to David Granger, they jump high and they jump low, and they cost Moses Nagumotu from the low-lying plains right up to Mount Roraima top. And told him he's token. He had no authority. He would not be given any power, just the window dressing. because that is what they do to the Afro-Guyanese as prime ministerial candidates in their party. But history will show that Moses Nagamoto had very meaningful roles in the coalition government. But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about this concept that you gotta get a black Indian or some other combination that is not black to win election in this country. Only I don't want to say again, I don't want to be disrespectful or be interpreted as being disrespectful. Only shallow minds will think that. Only weak hearts, weak minds will think that. Because those who are strong-willed as I am will be prepared to work to make it happen. And that is why I can always propose it, because I am always willing to work to make it happen. Me sitting back and believe anything can fall in place naturally. I am prepared to work to put it in place. And y'all gotta understand the mentality that I got. And if you believe I'm talking foolishness when I talk about the PPP doing this in order to, as I want to say, catfish black people. If the PPP were genuine in wanting black people, African Guyanese in their leadership, why is it when Chedi Jagan dead, Samines had to step down? Because the Constitution says this. The Constitution says this. If the president dies or the president demits office for whatever reason, automatically the prime minister fills that void. The prime minister becomes president. So when Chedi died, Samines automatically became president. But was made to resign, y'all remember? Was made to resign for Janet Jagan to become the president, because Janet said, Papa Chedi said she must take over. Janet said, if you're hearing straight, you can't run this country. That's my interpretation. And then when Janet couldn't stand the heat in the kitchen, she decided that she gonna put the young upstart Jagdio to run things. And since Blue Bauji said Jagdio must run things, she gonna resign. And the Constitution says once she resigns, Samines becomes the president. And then he will swear in Barrett Jagdio as prime minister, then he will resign. So Jagdio automatically became president. And then he will swear in Samines as prime minister. And that, in my mind, exposed Samines to all the jackass he is. Hey, that had to kill me. Am I too black to be president of the nation that my ancestors shed blood, sweat, and tears to build? Am I a lesser human being? Am I a lesser Guyanese citizen than any of y'all? Answer me. So are we lesser Guyanese citizens than anybody that we can't stand a fair chance of being president and prime minister at the same time? If among us we have Afro-Guyanese who can be president, and we have Afro-Guyanese who are more attractive than anybody else who can be prime minister, they must swallow their pride and put somebody who's less attractive because they are not Africans? I disagree. The brightest spear In these last elections, I will argue again, is Aubrey Norton and David Hines. See, I don't tell me about the couldn't work. I know it would work. But we got this self-defeatist mentality. Yeah. I continue talking. It's 9 minutes late. Anyways, I see somebody say, Amsterdam, you say you don't want to go to Parliament. Is that accurate? Is that accurate? Because I want to be reminded. Just like y'all misinterpret. Just as though y'all misinterpreted Jordan's statement, I think this person misinterpreted mine. Because as I remember, I said, I'm asking myself if it really makes sense going to Parliament. Should I go to Parliament or not? What can be achieved in Parliament that I can't achieve outside of Parliament? And in that same breath, a lot of people say, Mr. Armstrong, go to Parliament. You do good there, we need your voice there, etc., etc., etc. So let me twist it back on you. Even if I say I don't want to go to Parliament, and so many y'all tell me go to Parliament, don't you think I have respect enough for your opinions that I considered going to Parliament? I'm just asking, right? But really and truly, my topic for this morning, like it indicated, there's strength in unity, and we have to find that unity to survive what is coming from the PPP in this current Parliament. We have to find that strength. We have to find that unity because the PPP's push for 2/3 majority. Last night I was on a TikTok group panel and we were discussing. They asked me to, educate them a little bit on Parliament and how you get your seats and what happens in Parliament and so on. And I did the best that I can do. And when we came to the question of what is 2/3 majority, and I did the math, I came to realize it's something around 44 seats. Right? 44 seats, approximately. The parliamentary specialists could tell me if I'm wrong or right, but I calculated it to be about 44 seats. 43.333 with current decimal. So you ain't got no 1/3 person, you round it up. Same thing Nigel User told them in the no confidence motion, and all them arguing Nigel used nonsense, but sorry for them who never did maths. So my calculation is about 44 seats, of which the PPP currently has 36 and Win has 16. Now I said it, when Bob said a coolie is a coolie. When Bob said it, not me. And so if push comes to shove, and there is need for 8 votes to the PPP to do what they want, I want to believe, I have a strong belief that whoever represents Win in Parliament might be instructed to give the PPP the 8 votes. Because I'm saying again, I believe that Azruddin Mohammed has used the Guyanese citizens, especially young, black, ill-informed Guyanese, to buy himself a bargaining chip with the PPP. Then the champagne courtesy, you bring back the question about what Dr. Hines said and why I am saying that was my formula, because I am entitled to my opinion. And I have that strong belief that that was the formula to win the election. Simply put, that's my answer. As people are saying, they did what is politically correct. I don't necessarily like politically correct situations. I'm a realist. Yeah, so by the way, I should have told you yesterday, Mr. Jordan's day. Mr. Jordan is in the US. And he says where he is, he has internet challenges. He informed me since last week, I think. He told me that he had to go to the US. And where he is, the internet is not of the best quality, and so you would skip this you would skip this session. Right? Good. So don't believe it's because some of y'all cuss you out and say you decide I ain't coming back and come see you now. You bigger and stronger than that. Right? Good. So next week or so, I expect him to be back. So back to this thing about what I believe. I believe if push comes to shove and the PPP needs 8 votes, like they needed one for the no confidence motion. Those 8 votes can comfortably and will comfortably come from win. Because y'all have been taken for a walk. You provided a bargaining chip for Azzuddin Mohammed. That's my firm belief. The shameful thing is, based on what I'm seeing, the makeup of the leadership of Win, I have a lot of black brothers and sisters who are going to have to sit in this parliament and vote against their own goodwill. Right? Against their own self-interest. They're going to vote against their own self-interest when push comes to shove. Yeah, watch and see. Vikram Mahadio, why you don't come off my live and go at Enterprise Bagdam and Django Tong and Son, see where race is there? Yeah? Why you don't do that? I don't know where all is coming from anybody, you know. You have a class by critics, man, and here we cuss. This is the kind of education y'all accustomed to go over there, man. What you coming here for upset my good spirit for? Anyhow, back to my discussion. So I'm saying that push come to shove, we're going to see where those votes will go. And so the answer to this current dispensation, this current political dispensation, can be in the National Assembly first. It can be in the National Assembly first. At least not in the National Assembly alone. We might get a chance. Yeah, we definitely will get a chance to partake in the debate. But whether our representation will be respected and our submissions accepted to form policy in this country is a different thing. And so I'm saying our survival as our 4 people in this society has to be in unity, our strength. We have to unite to give ourselves strength. We have to have strong Afro-Guyanese organizations. We have to strengthen our African Guyanese representative organizations. And not only strengthen them from a position of politics, because politics without economics is joke. I've been preaching that too. Y'all have heard me say that throughout the 5 years. Politics without economics is joke. And that too has been proven. Because when you hear how much the PPP spent to buy black votes and to gerrymander black votes and to buy an entire election, and then you hear that the next big spender was Win. Word in the street is that they spent almost $5 billion to arrive at this 16-seat position. You come to understand the importance of money, the importance of having an economic base, even if you're fighting for political office. And so we, in going back to the drawing boards, have to recognize the importance of economics and economic strength. If we really want to be solid contestants in the future political competition in this country. So I'm saying that the answer for us is establishing strong Black organizations, not only from a point of view of politics, but economics and culture. Roland Reed, you have a right to your opinion and you have a right to have your reservations about the prefaces, Afro-Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese, Amerindo-Guyanese, and so on. But hear me, like I said, I am not a politically correct guy. I'm a realist. And even when they don't utter them, they recognize them. Let me take you to the system of governance in this country so you can understand what I say. Go and check the police arrest records and charge records of people in this country. See when they put up their mugshots and what you will see in them. Right? Guyanese of Indo ancestry or Indo-Guyanese. Previously, not so long after I was arrested, or just when I was arrested, the debate started in this country. You see, I'm a change element, you know, negative or positive. I'm a change element. When they arrested me and they took me to Rheinveld police station or whatever they call it, and they attempted to describe me as a Negro Guyanese. Negro. Male Negro. That was the description, male Negro. Nigel Hughes, our senior counsel, like I will always acknowledge him as, objected and say, hey, he ain't no Negro. He's male African. We ain't taking the Negro label. And Big Nose and he'll jump out and make a lot of noise. And the debate started. And at the end of the day, there was some instruction, let me call it that, to the police to stop describing people as Negro and use African Guyanese. So like me, something would, the records will show male African Guyanese or African Guyanese or male of African descent or something like that. And you will find the same thing for Indo-Guyanese. You're going to find that prefix in front of them. And you're going to find indigenous perhaps in front of the Amerindian brothers and sisters. So I didn't make up these things, my friend. They exist in this society. And you're placed in a caste or a class dependent on those very prefixes. And unless you are prepared to accept them and act accordingly and fight against them, we're going to continue fooling ourselves all the time. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue fooling ourselves all the time. And so I ain't running away from no prefix. They exist. And they also dictate policy in this country. So I'm saying unless African Guyanese draw on their unity for strength, economic strength, cultural strength, the political battle will always be long and hard, and in many instances, the results will be against us. Because put APNU together with AFC and maybe all the African Guyanese organizations in this country, I doubt they would have been able to come up with $2 billion to contest these last elections, much less $5 billion. Or worse yet, $25 billion. elections in this country have now become a marketplace where the highest bidder stand the best chance of winning. And so I'm saying going forward, we have to recognize that we need a unity, because that is where our strength will come from. Unity, economic, political, and cultural. Is the only way we get rid of this monkey off our back. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. 6225933 is the number to call. I don't think I'm the most eloquent, but I think I get my message across. And so for me, eloquence doesn't matter in this instance. 6225933 is the number to call. Call, let's talk a thing. Our morning justice calling. I'm going to answer. It's a democracy out here. Call it on.
It is my opinion to judge you on your online activism. When you started this show, your party had 31 seats. And after almost 5 years of online activism, you party now got 12 seats. So I really would like you to take a hard look at your activism and question it if it bear any fruit in the past 5 years. Or I, it is my opinion you should change your tone because Guyana is a multi-racial country. Thank you very much for taking my call, Brother Amsterdam.
Thank you very much for your call and your opinion. And I'm really, really happy that you said it's your opinion. And I want to say that I don't necessarily have to call a mute and hold the line, please. Call a mute and hold the line, please.
I did that. Thank you.
You're not muted, sir. I know you're not muted. Anyways. Yes, I was saying, I'm happy it's his opinion, and we gotta respect his opinion. But I don't have to take his recommendation that I have to change my approach to my activism. And if he believes that the results of my activism or the efficacy of my activism can only be determined by an electoral result, especially the result of an election that has been massively rigged and an electoral machinery that is corrupted, or through an electoral machinery that is corrupted, he's also wrong. Because I can tell you, walk around this country and perhaps even around the world, wherever this program is broadcast, and people get to hear it, consistently listen to it, we have more self-conscious, prouder Africans with more self-esteem walking the face of this earth. We are more educated, more informed African Guyanese and people of African descent around this world wherever this program is heard and listened to, walking the face of this earth. And that means more than any election result for me. Because change is a process. Change is a process. And there will come a time when the very messaging that you seem to be castigating or blaming for the coalition losing seats will bear more fruits than you can ever imagine. And I know that you know, and your handlers know. And that is why they will launch a campaign to try to convince me and others to change our messaging because they don't want those fruits to be born eventually. Caller, you on. Speak.
Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters in Guyana. First thing first, we will get there again. But we have to come together, make sacrifice, and demand. Not only talk and no action. Let me put a advice to both parties, WPA and PNC. You guys should open a GoFund right now, election campaign GoFund right now. So come next election and the third election, we will have money to do important things for campaign, important things. It's not too late for do the right thing. My grandmother teach me that. And the next election, don't talk about new voter lists. You have to fight today for new voter lists. Otherwise, you guys will not get it and go back again. And to you and PNC, you don't go to no election without no voter list for the third and fourth time. It makes no sense. Don't wait for Flash Garden come to put fire and smoke up in the air, forget a new voter list. I repeat myself over and over, breaking news come out from Guyana that a small Caribbean country put fire and smoke up in the air. For what, Flash Garden? Remind us. For cost of living. And the government went to the table with them and they said, hey, no, come more than that. Because we know you got money, could come more. We deserve more because we keeping the country going, not you. And if that was my black brother and sister have to realize, is you guys keeping the country going, not no government. The government have to protect the interests and the wealth and invest it wisely, and the people then will get a happy life. Why there was no protest up to now? Let me say this two before we go. It is a game that my black brother and sister have to look out for. In Parliament, them will receive some of the win. What I put on the table, I believe they will just receive the cost of living bill. Because you know why? Because they want the black people stay with Win party. You could benefit them. And black man, so you see, they may accept the part, not the Win, not the cost of living from Abinatin, but them receive it from thing. It's a trick of that. But they will not do nothing about it. They got pass certain bill, yes. Because they don't want let Mohammed put the people them outside there on the streets. And then again, Mohammed in believing protest against his brother. He always said, Ali is my Muslim brother. Ali is my Muslim brother. The young lady from APNU, that Muslim MP girl, she went back to Mohammed. Them two Hindu from APNU MP, they went back to Jagdio Hindu. I love to say Flash Garden, attack racial and racial, but I don't see. Me just only repeat what they did towards black people, but they believe in that. Before we go last, let black people remember what that wicked Koli Prime Minister come to Guyana and tell them Koli people, say, hey, Guyana is a little India. And from since then, I follow that message and see the disrespect and the punishment towards that. When he come and let him come for no vacation, he come for remind them, say, hey, we must control the way. What you have to do it. If you have to kill black man, kill black man. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. I want to say this, and I want to say it clearly. Flash Gordon recommends that all he said APNU and WPA should start GoFundMe. Call him mute and hold, please. Should start a GoFundMe to contest the next election. I'm saying the WP and the APNU should be pushing right now to make 5 multi-million-dollar businesses around this country before the next election. There's some people around me, politically and otherwise, who, when we're having our light chats, would refer to me as a capitalist, a Rodneyite with a capitalist outlook, or a WPA with a capitalist outlook, etc., etc. I don't take it offensive, because I always say, and I think I mentioned to you right on this program, and I know that person's viewing this program. There's one of our viewers who came up to me years ago and said, Mr. Amsterdam, I think you should form your own political party. I got $10 million to give you to run your campaign. And I said to him, if I were to invest $10 million in an election campaign, there's no guarantee that I will win the election to start with. And even if I win the election, how will you get back your $10 million? I would rather take your $10 million and invest it in a business. Let us do a partnership. Invest $10 million in a business, and I will take the profits from that business and run a political campaign. I know that person is listening. And if they care to say, well, on the chat or otherwise, yes, Mr. Amsterdam, I had that discussion, fine by me. No problem for me. But I say that to say that the election will come and go. Win, lose, or draw. But if you establish a business, or if you economically empower your base, it will always be there economically empowered. Win, lose, or draw. Again, I say, I'm eloquent, so don't look for eloquence from me, but understand my message. If we empower our people economically, they in turn can empower us economically because they politically, because they got the economic backative to give us. You think the PPP survived out of government for all the years it survived because money was just being put aside to campaign for election? No. Because they had big, strong businessmen behind them, businessmen who made a living or who came to fame even under the PNC government, got to start under the PNC government. Those businessmen threw their money behind the PPP, and they kept them alive through the difficult years. And when they got into power, it was payback time, and that's why they got so many friends, family, and favorites. And the cycle continues. I want us to create economic strength in our communities. And in turn, I think we will get political power eventually. Because let me tell you this. When your people are empowered economically, then I know PPP buying them for a small contract of $4 million. Then I know PPP buying them for $25,000 and $40,000. Then I know Mohammed, no win, buying them for even $40,000, for even $400,000. Because once they have economic strength, then they will be able to resist eating a food now and they'll be able to look down the road to the long run. Can you imagine a young African child telling you he prefer $40,000 now than wait for a house lot? That says a whole lot about where we are economically and otherwise. And if you want political power, sometimes to get to one destination is not a straight line. Sometimes you have to use a circuitous route to get there and get there safely. It might take a little longer, but it might get you there successfully. Caller, unmute and speak.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon. Those points that you're saying, it is so true. Now the points that Flash gave, they are. I go with those points 100%. But the only thing when he said GoFundMe, I said we should do a GoFundMe indeed, but we got to use that GoFundMe right, in the right way. And people might say that election, now in this election era, when we were slaves, Massa used to look for strong people within the slaves who had leadership qualities, and they would destroy them, kill them in the most heinous way, take some time out from the work we be doing, and show us how to destroying strong people. And right now in Guyana, GCOM has become Massa. And GCOM looks at all these strong people who they know will lead Guyana good, lead us Africans out of bondage that they're trying to put us into. And they use GCOM to subject and incarcerate and murder the leaders. When was it 2020? They destroyed President Granger in the same way. Now in 2025, they destroy Aubrey Norton. And with the destruction of Aubrey Norton, the people who were once there, they are now back into back, and start to cuss out Norton as not being a good leader. Now these people who sat down, who come out and voted both elections, 2020 and 2025. You hear people say the black people didn't vote, the Africans didn't vote. Let me tell you something. We voted. Yesterday, I called out a friend who used to be on the protest line, who used to help transport protesters. Once the person see you going and you know you're coming out protest, you're going to the protest line and you're coming back. The person talked to me with tears in the individual voice. Say, Rwanda, I can't take this hate. I said, I myself. True strugglers who struggled, and if APNU don't put WPA into the thing, I gonna APNU. Because when we wanted to start the protest, that you know you are WPA man out there. You get charged 2 times in the presence, standing up. And after you started, then APNU follow suit. And if APNU wants a continuous relationship with a party that is a party for African people, they got to come good. I send your voice note. It ends to play upon the program. When the program done, you're going to listen to the voice note. And you're going to tell me, you're going to give me a thing to handle. Because I have something that I want to show to you. You got to see. So for now, we got to start a GoFundMe, yes. And the GoFundMe must be used in the right place where it got to use. We will talk that. You have done it. When you start the protest, I am Apnu. This is an Apnu village. And let me tell you, Kadaki, you know where I used to go every week. How Apnu going? You got to get a bus, you got to carry them, and then they're going to go. And I used to go single-handedly. Once I get a passage from me to Georgetown Felling, bus fare from A to the Stelling, and a boat fare, I used to walk and go to the protest line. When the media going to declare my policy, I don't have money to go. I was there resolutely on course. And when it comes to people talking that we didn't do nothing, at least I did it all. I have done it. But one thing I got from my troubles was to see no phones in the voting compartment. I saw that. Just like how you made it possible for people to come out and protest in front of GCOM. So don't let me listen to people who calling in and trying to bash your Kadaki. You did what you had to do. You stood up there through thick and thin. You pay fine, you get locked up in jail. And for people who are calling in on this program, stop calling and talking trash. And Kadaki, when you hear if me call and talk trash, kick me off too. If I got something that I want to say and I think it's going to cause a problem in the program, I would go out and do an independent life. And if you want to talk nonsense, don't talk it to Kadaki the program. Only Kadaki program you could talk on. Because program like Kadaki and the others, I get my news content from. And I don't want to see the Kadaki program get pulled off. I just go and stand up at the court and see my brothers, them, in the travail for this country. I've witnessed it, I've been through it. And it is not an easy feeling to go to the court and study if you're going to see the body coming out of the court. You don't know if you're going to see them coming out. So yeah, don't mess around, Kadaki. Me and Kadaki does have your own story, and I know what to do. So bye-bye. It's that too long for you.
Thank you for your call. It's 29 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. You're still tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki. So many people wanted to hear this voice. I got a message way down from Georgetown, pleading with me to at least send in a voice note or something. So I said, whatever little data I have here, I'm going to use it up just to come on and let people know that I'm alive and well. And the Nathan Frasers, who made a comment on your live about Jordan, why he's not coming on or something to that effect. Unless you send somebody to harm me or so on. Let him know that the public service announcement that you put out there in respect of me is exactly that. That well before all this country talks have taken place, I had signaled my intention of coming here to do certain things and so on. I missed out on the Labor Day. And the reason why I missed out on Labor Day is to stay home and vote, to make certain we get that one more vote that, if need be, will push us over the finish line. It's not like a lot of them on Facebook and otherwise who suddenly get some righteous indignation based on what somebody said or what somebody said that somebody said that somebody said, who probably read what temporary waves would have put in place. If you don't have the strength and the time and the patience to listen to our 2-hour program last week, Friday, then go to Electoral News today. Go to Electoral News today. Which paper has quoted me. They put it in uplifted comments of exactly what I said, of exactly what I will repeat anytime, any day. And no, not in secret, not calling or being whispering in his ears, speaking openly. That is my right. That is my right. You know something? You know what, unfortunately, all of that travails have done? Where people thought that they get their 2 seconds of fame, bashing me and so on. Because of the great bulk of people who know me, who know what I have given to that party as a supporter, who know during the elections, leading up to the elections, what input I made. They have been calling me to express righteous indignation. I think the one that took the cake for them is that the party's own general secretary came out bashing me. A man who I have never met, does not know me, doesn't know my biography. I'm a highly educated person with numerous awards, over 40-something years experience in this business, working at the highest levels, locally, regionally, and internationally. Man comes out and bashes me. Another guy named Richmond, who says he was an APNU candidate, of which I and my family voted for, came out bashing me, labeling me about bribe and Exxon. And he got to know that is that same Norton who saved him from walking up the court steps. That is what you did. What I said about a king and all this kind of thing, I'm no kingmaker. But that party of Barnum, I have believed in ever since I was a YSM since 1974. I never joined the party. And after 76, I've had no direct relationship with the PNC. But I've always had a supportive relationship. Always have a supportive. And our 3 votes, because our household is 4, but our little grandson is not ready to vote yet. But the 3 who could have voted went out there very early and voted on September the 1st. And you feel that 2 out of those 3 are going to be turning up when next you call an election. That is how the party of Barnum wants to bring people into the fold, because all must be welcome, friend or foe, rich or poor, black or white, all must be welcome, because when we go into that booth, it's 1 vote for 1 person. So if we chasing this morning, I was listening to a 7-minute video on why the PNP lost. I sent it to you, Kidaki, and whenever you get time, if you wish, you could play it. It is a very instructive video. Very instructive video. Now, quickly before my day to finish, go to today's thing, Kaito News. In the first paragraph, it says Kaito News has conformed. So no paper's going to go out there and use the word conform without going to the direct source of the information. So Kaito News has confirmed that Aubrey will not be going back to Parliament. And without letting any secrets out of the bag, that is what he told me last week, Saturday, when he called me. That is what he told me, that he will not be going back into Parliament. And everybody who run to cuss me out, they're now coming around to exactly the things I said. Exactly. But you know one of the other hurts is that people who listen to the program, because I went back and checked the program and see people who made comments and so on. All their comments I read. All. And some of those same people come back to cuss me. They never cussed me while they were hearing it direct, live and direct. But they're cussing me to join the band. Join the bandwagon. I might not be a rhinoceros, but my skin is thick. And when you cuss me, it just falls off my back. I've been cussed from now to eternity. I've been cussed as Minister of Finance, cussed for this, cussed for that, cussed for that. I believe in public service. And I've given over 40 years of public service in my life. Over 40. Paid peanuts. Live in a modest house. But I believe in public service. But I don't believe in abuse. And I don't believe in people who know the abuse and know it's wrong, standing back and allowing the abuse. So, Kedaki, while I may continue, and I'm using the word may, continue this program, I, like you, I am going to reassess not my contribution to this program, but reassess my whole contribution to the party that I love. I could understand Facebook people cussing me out, but not the party people who don't know anything about me. Not the party people, no. So, Facebook people, you will cuss me out. I got no problem. I don't know you and you don't know me. But when the party general secretary, that's official. That is official. And the party general secretary don't know my input into the elections that gone there. Don't know. He doesn't know. And Mr. Richard, however you know, doesn't know my input into the last election. Doesn't know my input into the local government election, financial and otherwise. But you run to cuss out the one person who's been thrown out the belly since 2020. The one person who between 2015 and 2020 as the Minister of Finance did so much for people that look like me and you. Did so much. I don't blow my trumpet. I do not. I'm a very modest person. Don't blow my trumpet. And whatever has been achieved by the coalition, I let it be the coalition. But President Granger will tell you one day if you write the memoirs, what was my input into that party? So much so that he was prepared to offer me twice the leader of the opposition. And it is being reported back to me about some group where that was mentioned. But as I mentioned it publicly, otherwise the person who said it wouldn't have known. That is how President Granger had me, a trusted confidant who, when he gave advice, because of not being involved in anybody's party, he knew that advice was coming from the heart and the head because of my academic background and qualifications. And I started writing my memoir. There are going to be some interesting things in that memoir that you don't know. But when y'all seek to cuss out Granger, spare a thought that those 5 years was an interregnum of the PPP juggernaut that resumed in 2020. They were lucky that they had those 5 years. Lucky, trust me, for their own safety. Nobody was afraid anymore, their own safety. In 3.5 short years, we were able to lift incomes of public servants by 77%. We were able to keep the economy growing. We were able to save sugar from going under completely in the state that they left it. Then we gave it in 2015. We were able to save rice. Rice had one of the highest output by 2016. All of those things. But you know, when the introspection in the PNC starts, it's not only about why coalition ministers weren't seen on the stomping ground. You can't want cake and bake. On the one hand, you're blaming the coalition government for what happened in 2025. And on the other hand, you want those same people who you're blaming to go on the stomping ground. Why? For us to be used as fodder against the campaign. I maintain, go and read Kaito News. I praise Aubrey Norton for the campaign he ran. Go and read it there. It's right there to today's papers. Go and read it. He ran a great campaign. Unfortunately, As the general, you take the kudos for the success, and you got to take whatever else for whatever failure that take place. That's what a general is all about. And I'm always reminded about Rashdi Jackson, one of our better foreign ministers. When his son, not Rashdi Jackson, when Rashdi Jackson's son got involved with the law, considered to be a minor infraction, Rashdi Jackson did what he considered to be the honorable thing. Without being asked by Bonham or anybody, Rashdi Jackson resigned. And no number of entreaties got him to change his mind. He resigned. You know why? He took responsibility for the action of his son. It's no shame. It is saying that I understand. I did my best in raising them and so on, but they are mine, and I must take responsibility. That was all I was asking Aubrey to do up front. Don't take too long, because we got next year local government election. You got to think like Jagdeo. Everybody knows Jagdeo started planning for 2030. He's not waiting for 2030 to plan for 2030, and he got money, he got incumbents, he got every single thing, and yet he's starting from now. We got to start from last year for 2030, much less 2016. We ain't got time to waste. We ain't got time to dissipate our energies using Jordan and so on. Jordan is irrelevant to this. Jordan's not a member of the party. Jordan's not in the strategy room of the party. Jordan's totally irrelevant to this. But that is what they do. They dissipate their energy into nonsense. Nonsense. You think, look, I live in today, I live tomorrow until God ready for me. Using me out has done what? Has done what? Nothing. Nothing to me. And it certainly hasn't promoted the party. On the contrary, it has made the party come across to many people as not some place they want to be. And the party leadership did nothing to stop it. Nothing to stop it. When Aubrey called me on Saturday, I asked him if he listened to the program. He said no. All he got was the last part when I quoted the two proverbs, the African proverb and the Turkish proverb. That's he said. I said, Aubrey, go and listen to the program. Don't listen to people. Go and listen to the program and then call me back with whatever conclusions that you have. That's when he called me the first time. And the second time was to do with Richmond and his foolishness. But like I said, I am going to review come local government elections, which is a very low turnout. It's almost done last 2 votes. There are a number of people I have reached in my everyday walking in Main Street and my walks in the morning zone who I've been able to convince to vote for things and so on. You would think when those people look and they see a person who has been an educator, a leader, and on the ground person at them, a person who they know, a person who they could get $1,000 to charge them from, and look and see what a supporter of a party and the leadership stands there and waits there and allow a press release to come from its belly to sting me. Yeah, but that's okay. That is okay. I will survive. I'm 68, and wherever else God got the rest of me, I intend to use it productively. Okay? I intend to use it productively in the manner in which I have been doing. I intend to be an educator. I'm not intending to waste around people with negative energies and so on. No. I'm a Leo. I'm a positive person, a leader, and a person who is fearless. I don't have time for them foolishness that. If that gives people their crown, they can go ahead with it. I never wanted the crown. It's a poison chalice. That's why I refuse. Never wanted it. Don't have any interest, major interest in politics, but I love the PNC, Bonham's party. I have supported it all. I could continue saying I will support it, but I can't say the same of my family, nor those people who have been able to convince over time that the PNC is the party. should be the party of your choice. All right? So those who have been saying, we want to hear your voice, you have heard my voice. God spare, we may be able to resume next week Thursday, but like I said, I am reviewing this whole thing. Maybe I should be giving my energies to something else. As for the 12, I think again, as I'm saying, you guys are getting the 12th wrong. You have to have 4 people coming from the geographic list. So you can't name, this is my 12. You have to have 4 people come from the geographic list. 1 coming from region 5, 1 coming from region 10, 2 coming from region 4. That's your 4. Then you have to have 8 from the top of list. Out of that 8, I am almost sure you have to give 1 to the WPA. So 7 is left. Out of that 12, you have to have 1/3 as women. So that's 4 of them have to be women. So when you trying to say who must go where and all this kind of thing, keep those in mind when you're doing your names, right? You can't get everybody. And again, as I said, it would be best if after 2 years, or 2.5 years, you bring a fresh set, not everybody, say half, to give the widest possible participation in the parliament, right? For a lot of people, parliament is a big thing, and it should be. It's the highest forum. So don't let the 12 get the impression that they will be there forever. There must be some kind of review. There must be some kind of review, and let it be known up front that maybe half will go. I'm certain if 1 is identified for WPA, that in the spirit of things, WPA will be constantly changing their portion, and Kedaki would not be expected to be there all the time. I'm sure about that, based on what they did when the coalition was in power. That has to be it. Maximize the participation so that people feel as part of the whole process and they're energized to go to the next level. Go to the next level. It is up to the party to do whatever introspection they want. My views are out there. They are like the North Star is my truth. You don't have to take it. Any advice, no leader can be given advice, but he doesn't have to take it. He or she doesn't have to take it. But my views are out there. It seems to resonate with a large number of people, but that don't mean nothing either. It's ultimately the party. But the party got to know that the party is not just the members. It's the thousands of supporters, right? The thousands of supporters and the onlookers who are looking to see whether our party is an option for them. Okay, Kedaki, I don't want to keep it too long on my data looking like it's peeping too, but have a good day. I'll enjoy the rest of my stay. I've been meeting people at a wonderful lunch yesterday. Over 3 hours of gas. Oh my goodness, I'm going for another one today. I love what they say. One good turn deserves another. One good lunch deserves a dinner. So thank you and bye.
You enjoying the company or the food? Which one?
I enjoy both. Plus the weather. Plus the weather has been beautiful. I got my short pants and my boots. I'm looking good. Trust me.
But I tell you the truth, I ain't envy you. I waiting for you back my passport at the end of October. Yeah? Y'all have a good one.
I am with you with that this concern. Bye bye.
Good. Yes, it is now 10 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. Mr. Jordan had his say. I'll ask you, Mr. Jordan, you got Mr. Jordan. Albeit not necessarily on the topic I would have liked to have Mr. Jordan on. But you know, life is life and we gotta live life as it comes. I wish we would move past that and focus on the rebuilding. Like I said, what we need are strong African organizations, economically and otherwise. Voice note.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. A pleasant Thursday morning. Continue the good work to teach and explain to people that needs to be edified. The individual that called and stated that You started off your activism 5 years ago. The coalition had 31 seats, and this last election, this last rigged election that was bought, the coalition only have 12 seats. Well, the coalition was the only grouping that did not buy votes or did not have the access of the government's treasury or coffer. So there needs to be election reform, and this the constitution needs to redone. It needs to be redone. Every individual should run for their own parliamentary seat. So that individual is just not knowledgeable and should stop talking about things that he does not understand or he choose not to understand, or he's just a propagandist. Continue your good work, sir.
Good morning, Kadaki, and good morning to your viewers. Kadaki, united we stand and divided we fall. PVP is an Indian party and they united. PNC is a black party. One time I asked one leader if he think PNC is a black party, he say he can't say that. But why you think the Amerindians and the Indians not vote for APNU? Because they say it's a black party. But we not realize it's a black party. Indian vote for PVP because they know there is a Koli party, and so they vote. And when also it is a Koli party also. They only get back as a rubber stamp. Now we are controlled by two Pharaoh. Muhammad, but no, I know we will be delivered sometime. We will overcome someday. You know, Abnu had a better plan, a better for everybody. But because of money, people gravitate to money. They're just thinking about self. Now, the justice for Gianna, the justice for the everybody's, and all them black youths who get lock up with the car scripts, who get lock up, no justice for them. Okay, Queen and Bakas all they kill, no justice. Gianna Young, no justice. When you know black people, we got to come to ourselves. We got to come to ourselves. We make a mistake, we don't make the mistake no more. Okay? So the black leaders don't want to say PNC is a black party or APNU is a black party because they call them see it as that and the American see it as black party and they don't like the leader with black. Only black people are run and say, well, but people are multi-ethnic. But watch all the policy, look at all the country when you give the black people, only give them for what's for clean button and them kind of low weed drain and happiness, stupidness. And them get by the billions. We don't say but people don't sell your soul. Judas betrayed Christ because of money. They will not betray everybody because of money. A sort of money where you get done already. And the food where you eat, where they get you for tip, for food for them, all done already. And now they back in the hands of Pharaoh. But you know, we will be delivered because God deliver the Israelite from Pharaoh. And God deliver the black people from the white enslavement. And we were delivered by Bornham under the murderous Chedi Jagan, who murdered people even so lunch. A man of the black people were killed during time. Okay? And he will deliver us from this wicked people, who continue killing us and jailing us for nothing at all. but we will be delivered. Black people.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and viewers. I've been listening to the program and, everybody giving their opinion and they're talking about this GoFundMe. Okay. I am thinking we have Melanie, which is one of Barnum's co-op or community that built under Barnum by Selfield. Okay, we have the part that used to be the shopping center, the plaza. If Norton or the PNC asks for assistance from the overseas chapter and they pour their money and do back that shopping plaza, you have place that you can keep conference or dance. You have little more little other part, food, clothes, whatever, and that can bring in income. People want to use it for wedding, different thing. That is money, and it go into a bank account to help. From that money, you can go into other community, get young people that you can, put into trade, do different thing to uplift the youths, different classes. It have so at Golden Grove, the community center. Norton can come and meet the executive there and see what program they can put in place to uplift the people in Golden Grove, Nabaklis, Aslington, and even farther, that they can come to various classes, do different things to uplift. And from that, you would get money because you would, able to do different things. That's just my opinion. We got to try to bring up back our community. If you look at every other Indian community, share big buildings going up. We can pool our resources, it may be little bit, but ask for assistance from the overseas chapter and let us see what we can do before the end of the other 5 years, that we can come hard, strong, and together to fight.
Good morning, Guyanese. Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. WPA has stood its grounds with the PNC, and I think it's by rights it should have a seat at the table. You understand? And I think Aubrey Norton is a man with his words. So I don't think you should be afraid of what will go down, but you will have a shot at the table. And all the high-ranking members of the PNC, WPA, and other parties should sit and work what is the next plan out for this country. I don't think right now is the time for bickering and fighting with each other. We need every single one. Every single one we need presently now to sit and work it out and find a solution for the people of this nation. Thank you.
Thank you for those voice notes. It's right on top of the 9 o'clock hour, and it's time for me to go. Y'all have a good day. I'm keeping it tight, Bye-bye. See y'all tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is what? Friday, Free Talk Friday? Yeah, tomorrow is Free Talk Friday. Let's see where that goes. Have a good one. Much love. Bye-bye.